Hello there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Time for Watercolor Wednesday, and we are going to do a painting together. But before we get into that, I want to let you know that I am having my birthday sale over in my online school. You can save 49% on any class of your choosing, and you can use a coupon more than once. I'll put a link in the video description in case you've been thinking about taking one of my online courses. You can do it, and this is my biggest sale of the year. And I bet you can guess how old I am, because everything's 49% off. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew about that, because I often will get emails and messages throughout the year asking when I'm going to have a sale. Do I ever have a sale? Any sales coming up? This is the one, guys. This is the one you wanna catch. The birthday sale. That is the best deal. So that's going on through this week. So check it out if you want to pick up a class on the cheap. And what we're going to do today is a quick watercolor sketch, and today's prompt for World Watercolor Month is home. So I went to Unsplash and I just looked for cute pictures of houses. So we're going to do a cute house today, and we're going to work in a sketchbook. And we're a week into World Watercolor Month. I've already worked at a couple sketchbooks, random pieces of paper. It's a madhouse, I'm telling you. But I wanted to quickly just do a very brief review of these new sketchbooks by Arrtx. This one came out a while ago when their watercolor pencils came out, and this features their hot press paper. And I think I have a tutorial for that one. This was with their watercolor pencils, the Arrtx watercolor pencils. This was with acrylic base markers. This was with gouache, but I kind of crapped out on that. I didn't really finish it. And then this was done with watercolor for one of the World Watercolor Month prompts this week. Really like how that came out. So this is their smooth finish. All these pages are perforated, so you can tear them out. The neat thing about that is actually this size right here. I've taken a couple pieces out. This is perfect for swatching in your 48 set of watercolors. So they fit your tins perfectly. I had just gotten a set of Sennelier and I swatched it there. Just the perfect size. Don't have to trim it down or anything. And these are my granulating colors. Now this is hot press paper as well. But even so, I can still see the granulation on these paints, which is pretty impressive, because usually with hot press paper, you don't see as much granulation, and it showed up really well. And I think that's due to the robust sizing in the Arrtx sketchbooks. And then this other one, this larger one here, is also hot press paper. So these three rectangles, they have the same type of paper. It's a hot press, nice crispy cotton watercolor paper, very nice. I used a fountain pen to sketch with a water soluble one. It didn't bleed through to the back, so you can use both sides. You've again got the perforated pages. But I just wanted to let you know, because the square one is actually cold press paper, meaning it's got more texture to it. So I did this painting here and this, and I don't know if you can really see on camera too much, but I took a picture of this outside in natural sunlight and posted it on Instagram, and you can really see the texture on that. And I think this is the paper I'm going to work on. You've got more of a uniform texture on one side, and then the reverse side is more of a natural, a little bit less textured. Not as smooth as a hot press, but a little bit less textured. And I think I'm going to work on this paper. Now, you know what? Is this perforated? Because, okay, that I can see the perforations on that. All right, the perforations they're poked through the more textured side. So like on this, the back side, I don't really see the perforations. So these might be a little bit more difficult to tear out if you want to, but you could always help with like a little X-Acto knife. Now, one thing I want to mention is these are all, they're all lay flat bindings. So they're sewn binding. The cover itself is flat, and it is secured to end papers only on one side. So the spine and the top cover is free. So it's really easy to work flat in the book. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. If you like those lay flat bindings, these are nice for that. And these are affordable for 100% cotton papers. I believe they're on sale this week for Prime Day, as well as the watercolor I'm going to be using today. I decided to pick stuff that I knew was going to be on sale. So check it out. I think they're a great buy. They may be sold out, because I know those Prime Day sales get pretty aggressive, but I thought this would be fun to work in. And I've got some fine liners here, and I think I'm just going to go right in with the pens. And this is the photo that I'm going to work from. I thought this was really cute. I will try to link it up down below, and I'll also try to keep it kind of on the screen as we're working. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to start with a 0.3. This is a liquid fine liner. This is by Ohuhu, and it's all filled. The barrel is completely filled with liquid ink, so you've got a lot more ink than, say, a pen that's got a cotton core in it, and I kind of like that. So we're going to start off, I'm just actually going to start off with that little tree there, since that's in front. I like that little tree. And I like to add foliage onto house paintings. Not that I don't do much architecture, to be honest, but I like to add some organic elements because doing straight lines, honestly, isn't really my forte, but I'm trying to get better at it. So we'll get that little tree in there. And then I see we've got some little hedges. So I'm going to put those little hedges in there. And you can do it with pencil first if this is a little bit, if this feels a little bit overwhelming. Let's see, we've got the front step right here, and then we've got another hedge over here on the other side. And I am working pretty quickly. I'm kind of working how I would be if I was sketching outdoors, because the light would be changing, there'd be people around, I'd want to kind of get done, you know, not take a huge amount of time. And we've got a path coming forward, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw that. It's getting a little bit wider as it comes forward because of perspective. I'm just going to do a little line for the curb there. There's a little strip of grass. And when I want a more sketchy line, I'm going to use the edge of my pen. So if you find that your pen is too scratchy, you can go with a bigger nib. Or if you feel like you're wearing down your nibs, you're ruining your pens, just go with a bigger nib, and that will really help with that. All right, so now I'm going to look at my house. How can I simplify it? Because I'm not going in with a pencil first, I'm just going to try to work front to back. So I'm going to try to get this little porch area in there first. So what I'm going to do is actually just draw the little door. And when I do, now there's no right or wrong way to approach this. I'm just thinking about, I don't want to have extra lines, you know, that I don't want to have, I love that crown molding that they've got. I love that craftsman style. So I'm kind of saying, okay, so I've got that door in there, and then this little, there's like a column type molding here that's a little ways away, that I'm like, okay, then I've got the top ceiling of the porch is just the front lip of that is just a little bit above. This is actually really difficult for me to talk while I'm doing this, because I typically would just be concentrating and doing this in the field. I've got a railing here, and I'm just kind of trying to measure things up as I go. I hope that makes sense. Got this column here. All right, that's going to go across like that. Now I need to fit two windows in there. We're going to see this window is kind of cut off, but it's the same height as the door. I set my, no, it's actually maybe a little bit taller than the door, but let's get the window glass area in first. That goes down to the top of the railing pretty much. And we've got a little space. We've got the next window pane area. And then we've got molding. Oh, I think I'm a little too close together, but that's going to be all right. And then we've got this column coming down here. And get that little railing, but then we have ballasts, and I'm just going to do lines coming down like that. And I could do that with a white pen later, but I don't think I want to. I think I want to just keep this kind of simple. And then let's see, we've got a little downspout. I like little details like that. I think that's kind of cute. All right, so, and I'm not using any straight edges. You certainly could. And I'm also trying to keep my head out of the way, so I'm going to have some wonky lines, but I'm okay with that. I'm drawing the front of the eave here, like this little front of the eave. And then it kind of angles back up on both sides. And I'm just going to bring that roof line over, except we do have another little downspout up there, so I'm just leaving a little gap there that I can put that downspouted. Now I'm looking at where, like, the lines on the metal roof, and this one here is pretty much straight. And then they slightly start to angle out until it meets up with almost being parallel, radiates out until it's almost parallel to what we have there. So see, there's a slight flare there. Okay, now this is going to, that line's going to kind of carry on there, but it's actually, I think it's going to come down a little bit deeper into the roof there. We've got windows centered up over this. Now we have that roof on there, we can put our windows centered up. I'm going to draw one big rectangle to kind of encompass that whole shape. Now my hole proportions might be off, who knows, by the time we'll know when we go to see how wide it is versus how high it is. Oh, I think I left too much molding in the middle, but oh well. I think these windows might be a little too big, but we're going for a cute house here. I'm not gonna, you know, it's kind of sketchy. I'm not gonna worry about it too much. The edge of the house is going to come up here on this side, and we've got a little bit of a molding there. I didn't center that up very well, did I? I should have had that line should have come over on the other side of that. When I put that first line in, lining it up there, that should have actually been on the other side. But that's fine. This is going to go straight into that, and oops, shoot, I overshot it a little bit, and that's going a little higher. I can use a white gel pen if I need to. If I have to white out any areas. And then we've got a little overhang here. I'm going to exaggerate the overhang because I think it would look kind of cute up there. Now over here, our width. So I'm looking at how wide is that versus how wide is this. This is not as wide as this. It's a little bit narrower. So I am going to just kind of eyeball that. I think that's about right. But look, I'm going to get this in here. And then if I say, oh, you know what, it could be a little bit wider. Well, I haven't decided what side I'm going to put that molding on, so I'm just going to bring the molding out on this side, and that's going to widen that out a little bit. And again, if it's not absolutely perfect, it doesn't really matter. So that top of those windows line up with this board here. So I'm just going to draw that line over. Or little, I guess it's not crown molding. What is that? It's like an arts and crafts style, shaker style or something. My husband did molding like that up in our addition. I absolutely love it. And we're going to draw our glass part of the windows in. Okay, we are doing well. I think this is cute. I hope this is showing up. I really hope this is showing up. And then we've got, let's see, the window here is a little bit higher than the window over there. So we'll start our window up a little bit higher. Not a ton though. The window box is kind of lined up with that. So if I do that, I could put like a little window box there. Oh, I might have that too wide. And I could throw some flowers in that. You know what? What the heck? I'm going to put some flowers in that little window box. Because I want this to be a really cute little house. With a window box. And then I'm going to draw the window panes. And let's see, the window panes. Now that top molding is actually going to line up with the bottom soffit there. So that's the top of my window. And so I know my window panes are going to be shorter than that. And again, we've got the sash there at the middle, and then the top of the pane is divided in half. And mine's a little lopsided, but that's okay. I'm going to put my little crown molding, or whatever the heck you call that. And then we're going to put some shutters on this. Shutters are cute. I always feel like a house feels a little bit, looks a little sinister without shutters. I don't know why. Do you ever find that? And why is there shutters on that window, but none of the other windows have shutters? I don't know. Maybe I'll put shutters on the other ones. Yeah, it does look a little sinister without shutters. I don't know. Maybe those will have shutters. I don't know. And then up here we have dormer windows. So let's draw, that's kind of just that's a square about the same size as that. Let's just start off with a square that's going to encompass the whole window dormer shape. Now if you used you could use a straight edge and have this much more meticulous. And that is totally fine. And so if I'm looking up here, we've got that. I got my really wonky, we're looking dead on, so we don't really see the side of that. But I can see it just looks like the edge of the rooftop is just a little bit shorter than that. And I overshot that a little bit, sadly. Oh, and let's get this figured out here, where we're going to have our roof line. Let's start our little triangle. Oh, that's way too steep, but nobody's going to see this photo and see our painting at the same time, so I'm not going to worry about it. And that's probably because I have this area a little too skinny, so it's making this line a little bit too pointy in order for it to meet up where it needs to meet up. But that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's going to see both, but that's why that's not working out right. Because if we're using everything to measure everything else against, oh shoot, I smeared my ink. Oh well. That just happens sometimes. So, and then we've got one more little roof peak. I think one more little board. And that is going to curve around the house. With this line is going to come across. All right. Now I can add some more landscaping in, now that I've figured out where everything is going to go. And I don't think I want to add, and oh, look how much I had that shifted over on that side. I think I'm going to put a tree over here, and it'll just be an imaginary tree because I don't really have a tree here, but maybe a little tree house. Wouldn't that be cute? Put shutters on the tree house. How about a tire swing? That treehouse is pretty far off the ground. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like, wow, that's a tall treehouse. Lindsay, have you ever drawn a tree before without looking at one? My tree is looking awfully sus. Let's put our little, we're going to have the little steps for somebody to climb up the treehouse. We're having fun. This is having fun, right? That's what this is about. It's about having fun. Let's see. Let's put our boards going this way on the treehouse. It's okay for the treehouse to be really crooked and janky looking because built by kids probably. But hopefully it didn't break anything because look how far off the ground that is. That's dangerous. All right, so we have got a sweet little scene. I'm going to put some clouds in there because I want want to disguise my little ink smudge. Put some little, yeah, I think that's kind of cute actually. All right, so I want to refine that little sidewalk a little bit. Maybe put a couple little tufts of grass there. And we got our little sidewalk curb. Oh, right. Oh, we also have, oops, my screen went dark. We have some siding on the house. I'm just kind of indicating that it's there. I'm not worried about having every little detail, obviously. It's funny, I'll do a video like this and somebody will be like, boy, I did not know how you were going to save that painting, Lindsay. That looked like a hot mess. And then it was fine. Oh, you know what? Let's put some cute little, shingles. Little scallop shingles. A few years ago, I did a video on making these little whimsical, I'm just going to turn this so that I don't get ink all over myself. I did a video on just like a whimsical little houses and a little whimsical landscape, and that was so much fun. Without a reference photo, it was just fun. And because this is something that's always kind of intimidated me, like architecture, I think it's fun just to do something kind of whimsical sometimes. With the wonky lines. This is a good way to help just like to show the difference between your siding and your molding and stuff like that. Just making some little sidewalk, cementy sidewalk I don't know what you call it, marks or whatever. All right, let's hit this with a hair dryer or heat tool really quick. I'm not crazy about my tree there, but I think it's gonna be fine. All right, and this is gonna just set the ink so it doesn't smear on us. I don't know if you can see. Can you see how textured that is? I don't know if that's going to show up or not. Ooh, I just realized one of my studio lights is not on, and I've got different overhead lights on. I hope it looks fine. But you know what? I don't think this painting is really gonna. I don't think it's gonna matter with this painting because it's not something worth doing super detailed or anything. Okay. Well, you can be able to see how this paper handles and whatnot. All right, I'm just gonna grab my little cat's tongue brush. This is from my craft ammo set, and I am going to try to paint around the clouds. It's going to be very much like a kind of a coloring in technique. I probably won't use this for the whole thing because it's going to carry way too much paint and water, but I did want to be able to get that sky done all together. The paints I'm going to use are from Paul Rubens. This 48 set is actually on a really great price right now because it's their first version of the paint, and they have discounted it because they have newer versions out now that are more popular. So this is like under $60 for these 48 colors, and they are professional grade. So that's really nice, I think. For sky color, I think I'm going to use like a cerulean blue. Do I have my... I've got my swatch upside down. Yeah, I think I want to use like a cerulean blue. That should have some nice granulation. I'm just going to tip it a bit and let it help it flow. I like cerulean blue because it's got a slight cooler vibe than ultramarine blue, but it still has that beautiful granulating texture. You could also just paint the whole thing blue and then blot off the clouds. I'm just throwing in a little bit of sky back here where I think we would see it. I'm not going to be too fussy with it though. Let's bring this down to the top of that tree. And let's see, I've got kind of a hedgerow back there. I'll bring that down a little bit further. Now, if you want that hedgerow to be a little bit, to push it back the distance a bit, which I think I do, I'm going to take, I think I'll take this kind of what is this? Probably like hooker's green. And I think I'll put that back there, and that way the edges can kind of, fuzz out a little bit. That's pretty strong color. I didn't realize that was going to be that intense. Look at us, we're always learning. That's a pretty color. Alright, I'm just going to bring some of that color over here. Let's see, that would go blue, probably about right there, I think. Soak up that extra, want not, waste not, right? Just bringing it to the edge of that house, and then I'm just kind of figuring out where the bottom of that line would be and just bringing that across as well. So now what I'm going to do, because I have way too much paint there, and I'll get back runs, I'm just going to dry my brush off. Oh goodness. And I'm going to set my brush in the puddle there that's kind of collected at the bottom of that wash and soak up the extra paint. And I splashed a little bit of water there. So I'm going to try to blot that up. Hopefully I can. Oh my gosh. Invest in some paper towels. There we go. Now I'm going to go with a smaller brush and just fill in that area because this is just holding way too much water. I'm just going to pick it up from over here because I have plenty. Alright, now I'm going to let that area dry a bit. So what I like to do is just kind of bounce around when I have a piece like this because I have so many different areas that I need to fill in. But the white molding is going to help not let our colors bleed together. So now I want to color for the house itself. I think I'm going to mix up like a burnt sienna and a red. I'm just using a small angled brush for this because I think that will be easy for filling in that area. I think I'll use like a little bit of this kind of crimson red and burnt sienna. I think that'll give us a really good color. And that's probably enough to fill in all that red area. I'll just try not to get my hands in it. Oh, that's a pretty color. Now, one thing that I like to do, and if you have a smartphone, you might want to try this. If not, if you have a kitchen timer and whatever you like to look at your reference photos on, would work just the same. So, since my smartphone, I can tell how long I want the phone to stay, the screen to stay on. My old one used to go up to 20 minutes. This one only goes up to 10 minutes. But I will do an exercise where I find a reference photo, and I will sketch until the timer goes off. And when your screen goes dim, you can either decide, like, I'm going to sketch until it goes dim, and then I'm going to turn on the screen again, and I'll paint until the screen goes dim, or something like that. It's just a great way to do some time sketches. And so if you want a faster time sketch, like maybe you have a bunch of reference photos that you want to, just practice your sketching, you can set it to 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and then when your screen goes dim because the timer has been reached, then you start another sketch with another reference photo. And it's a great way to get into sketching, because when you've got a timer set for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 10 minutes, you can't like fart around and worry about how you're gonna depict it. It's kind of like if I want to paint something, if I want to do like a live stream, or I want to paint something with you guys, and I want it to be kind of quick and easy, I can't dither. Once I start recording, I don't want to dither. I want to just get right into it, and let's see what we can do in 20 minutes. Let's see what we can do in 30 minutes. This one's taken a little bit longer because of the inking, but still it's going to be a pretty quick project. You'll also find that you might not be able to like carry on the conversation with anybody while you're doing this. So like if you typically are painting in your kitchen and your family's milling about and talking with you and stuff, you may find that you're so focused on what you're sketching that you can't like follow a television show, or you can't pay attention to what people are saying to you while you're doing it. That's what actually, I think that's why I really enjoy painting in public, like going outside, plein air sketching or urban sketching, because it doesn't bother me. I think once you get out there and you start doing it, you're not going to be bothered by the people around you, because you're going to be completely tuning them out. I have a little too much paint on there, so I'm blotting my brush so I don't end up with a background. Anyway, I just think it's a really great habit. Now, on the other hand, I find that I can listen to an audiobook though, or listen to music and do this, and that's a very complementary activity. I love to download audiobooks from my library's download library, and I'm always finding new authors to listen to, and I find that I can read more books if I also have audiobooks in the mix. I listen to it when I'm walking the dog as well. And it helps me do those things that I know I should do more, and they're things I want to do more. Like I want to be outside more, I want to paint more, I want to sketch more. Having an audiobook on really facilitates that. If you get in a situation where you're like, oh man, what a hot mess, my lines were awful, don't worry, because white gel pen, baby, we can fix it. We can fix it. We can do it. Mainly, it's just a minor thing. You're just pushing lines over a little bit. I'm going to try to keep the white of the paper where I can, but if I don't, I'm not gonna throw it away and say, oh. But if you wanted to, these are perforated pages. You can tear out an offending page. I don't think they'll come out on their own though. They're pretty. They seem to be pretty secure. Because I'm going to try to like draw little stripes in here and try to leave a little bit white of the paper showing through. I think that's effective. I think that works out all right. All right, is there anything else that needs to be read? My screen has gone out, so not that I can think of, not that I can see. All right, now there is actually a shadow being cast by the house onto the lawn. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this beautiful permanent green light, and I am going to, I'm looking at the shadow. So look at the shadow here. That peak is here. The shadow from that dormer is here, and the shadow of the regular roof is kind of going over the sidewalk. And everything else is just that beautiful bright kind of spring green on the lawn. So I don't know if I want that such crisp shadows, but I do kind of like that idea, so I'm kind of going to go with that a little bit. Of course, you could do everything with a lighter color, and you could add a shadow on top of that later, but I love a wet into wet shadow, so I think I'll probably try to keep it a little light. I kind of like how cartoony this looks. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I don't like how cartoony my work looks, but other times I think it's kind of charming and I like it. Alright, so while that's still wet, I'm going to go into that same dark color that we used originally, and I'm just going to add some shadow in. Maybe add a little shadow in for my treehouse. Now, since this brush is a Taklon, it's not holding as much water, so I can go in here without too much risk of blooms and blossoms. Even though this is a pretty heavily sized paper, it is cotton, so it does resist a lot of the blooming and blossoming that you would see. I like there being a little bit of shadow, but I don't want it to be over the top, you know? I don't want it to look sinister. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side as well. I think this is really cute. Posting something like this, I don't know, I kind of have two minds of it. On one hand, I think I'm like, it's fun, it's cute. I love seeing it when other people do stuff like this. But then you wonder, oh, are people going to be like, well, that's not what we expect from you. We expect more from you, Lindsay, you know? We expect you to have a fully rendered thing. There's a lot of stuff I'm posting on Instagram. If I haven't filmed it, it's probably because I've been just kind of puttering away at it, and I've been sitting on my deck, and I'm not like conscious of how long it's taking me, when I'm very conscious of how long it's taking me if I'm filming it. Because it's I'm going to try and keep it real time, or I'm going to have to edit it down. And I don't know how helpful the edited down ones are. But I also don't know what sort of patience people would have for like too much actual real-time longer things, because stuff takes time, you know? Painting takes time. I'm just approximating the shadow from the house there. Okay, now I think I'm going to do the road. I'm just going to, oh, what the heck, you know what? Why don't I just use, oh gosh, I don't like black. Is this Payne's Gray or just indigo? I'm not sure, but it's, I don't think I really like that. Let's do a little bit of yellow ochre in that. A little red to it. A little more that bluish. I think I like that a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, using a color straight from the pan, usually it doesn't look as good as if you kind of mixed it up with something else. All right, let's see. Our sky is dry. Oh, you know what? We should take some of that sky color, maybe actually take a little bit of that Payne's Gray color that we used. I'm going to paint in our windows because they would have reflections from the sky, but they'd also be a little bit darker. This is kind of fun, you know, painting this like I would if I was out painting in real life. That's kind of fun. Okay. And then for I think for the roof I might just use that Payne's Gray color on its own. I think that works. That'll work pretty well, and I've mixed it with other things, so it's not going to look out of whack, I don't think. Just be careful if you're going right up against that red, make sure it's dry. Maybe you'd like to draw your house in this whimsical style. That might be fun. And you could scatter some of your kids' toys out. If you have kids, maybe they've grown, but you remember like the bike they used to have. You could put that in the dooryard. Oh, get our little window over here I didn't do. All right, I think I want to have maybe a little bit more yellow ochre, let's add a little red to that. It's like I want a little bit warmer, but I don't know. I just want the color from the sidewalk to be a little bit different. Let's see. All right, now we've got some other shrubbery to do. I think I want to do kind of that lighter color on the top of the shrubs, and then put a darker color underneath. So it shows it being kind of like sun-kissed. This little green, you could use the other green, add a little yellow to it. Add some highlights in some of the trees. I think I want to go with like a sap green, or tree green I think they call it. Doesn't matter what, use whatever brush you're comfortable with. It's a very fast and loose interpretation. Watch out for your little tree house. Don't paint over that. But don't feel like you need to stay within the lines either. Or I paint the tree house the same colors as the house if you want. So this darker color. I was gonna put little flowers on there, but I think that ship has sailed on this tree. I'm telling you, talking and painting and thinking you get two. I can talk and paint at the same time, or I can paint and think at the same time, or I can talk and think at the same time. I can't do all three. Pick two, friends. Pick two. All right, I think need to have a nice brown for the tree trunks. I can't remember if this was the brown I used for the house. I don't think it was, actually. I think I used this brown. Probably what I should use. I'm going to make the little pieces of boards that are on there to climb up them and make them darker just because it's easier. A little bit of shadow onto that. Ooh, way too juicy. Oh, I want to put a little foliage. I'll leave some spaces for some flowers, which are just going to be dots. I'll use pink because we use the pink in that to make the house color. I'll use that color for the flowers in the window box. Okay, I think maybe we'll do a brick step. And paint the treehouse red as well. I love tree houses. I never had one, but I had cousins that had one. And it was like totally a death trap, ramshackle thing that, you know, my cousins made in the woods. Not parentally sanctioned. I mean, I'm sure the parents were like, yeah, whatever. Use some scraps, go entertain yourself. It was the 80s. There wasn't a lot of supervision back in the 80s. Oh, what color shutters do we want to do? Maybe, yeah, I think I like that blue. Maybe add a little bit of the cerulean to it. Okay, now I feel like some of the white does need some shading on the molding and stuff. So I'm just have the Payne's Gray with a little bit of water here, and I'm just going to go and add a little bit of shading to give it some dimension here and there, like under eaves and stuff. Oh, and then the curb, a little bit darker, I think, because that would be in shadow. Usually tapers to the street. All right, so it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, and on the other hand, it's also really, really simple. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to post it, see what you guys think. Maybe you like it, maybe you won't. I think it's kind of cute. Darken up the little steps here up the tree. Do a little bit of grasses here. Whoops, that was a little aggressive. And pull along, guys. The HOA is not going to like that. A little bit of texture. But I mean, you can keep playing with it. You can add shadow to the clouds. You can really do whatever you like. I think it's kind of fun, and I think the paper worked out really well for this. Obviously, add as much detail as you want, add some white gel pens if you want to. Just have fun with it. Grab some paper and paint something, draw something, add some watercolor, and enjoy yourself, because that's what World Watercolor Month is all about. It's about having fun and getting more painting done, whether it's your best work or it's just getting into practice, getting into the practice of it all. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I have a big sale on my classes. My classes are more in-depth than this, just so you know. 49% off any class with coupon code HB49 through July 13th. And I will have links to everything I used in the video description, and I think all these products are actually on Prime Day sales, so a good time to pick them up if it's something that you need. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!